What's up everybody, welcome back to Toge Lab. Today we're going to be installing a bunch of new suspension parts for the S14. We have a bunch of ISR Pro arms. These are the camber arms here. The toe arms, as well as the traction arms. We'll also be replacing the lower control arm with this P2M adjustable one. And finally, we have Fortune Auto 500 coilovers. First step, we're going to have to remove the wheels on the car. You're going to remove the rear traction arm by removing two 19mm bolts. Next, we're going to line up the length of the OEM arms with the aftermarket ones. That way, when we put the new arms in, they are close as possible to the stock configuration. Once we have the arms adjusted close to the OEM spec, we're going to go ahead and install that back with the two 19mm bolts. Next, we're going to work on the rear camber arm that is also held on by two 19mm bolts, one out here and one in there. Next, we're going to replace the rear toe arm. This is also held on by two 19mm bolts. Keep in mind that the bolt on the subframe is eccentric, meaning one side is elongated. This doesn't really matter for us as we're going to be replacing this with a eccentric lockout kit. There's also a eccentric bolt for the camber arm, but we're also going to replace that with a lockout kit. So this is just temporary, and all adjustments to the suspension will be made on the arms going forward. Next, we're going to be working on the coilovers. This car already came with some aftermarket shocks and springs, but we're going to go ahead and replace that with the Fortune Auto 500. There's one bolt holding the bottom of the shock to the knuckle, so we're going to loosen that up. Next, we're going to head on into the cabin and lower the back seats and pop off the rear speaker covers. These are all held on by pop clips, so once you pop it loose, you can just pull that out. There are going to be two bolts here and here that are holding the top hats to the car. Here's a closer view of the bolts holding the top hats in. Here you can see one of the two bolts. And we're just going to use an extension to remove the two top hat bolts so the coilovers can come off. Once the two top hat bolts have been removed, as well as the one on the bottom, the old shock can be removed. And here are the new Fortune 500 coilovers. We are just going to repeat the same steps of the removal process, but backwards. So we're going to install the two bolts back on the top hat, as well as the one bolt on the bottom of the shock. Before installing, make sure to preload the spring. We are also not worried about the height on this install, as we're going to be adjusting this later on. Next, we are going to work on removing the lower control arm. There's one bolt there. I believe it's a 22mm, and there are two 19mm bolts on the subframe. Here's a final shot of all the arms and coilover installed. Note that we don't have any end links or sway bars installed at the moment. Thank you for watching, and this concludes our video. Stay tuned for the front suspension install video.